I woke up as the villainess in a novel. The plot demanded I be consumed by jealousy for the male lead's one true love, that I'd act out crazily and destructively until I was finally shipped off to a psychiatric hospital. I looked at the stunningly beautiful face in the mirror. Then I looked down at the unlimited black card in my hand. And then at the walk-in closet overflowing with Hermes bags. I had to laugh. An asylum? Whoever wants to go can have my spot. I was done. I was checking out. I was going to take the male lead's money and live my own goddamn life. Liam Scott's hand was clamped around my neck. Hard. I couldn't breathe. He had just come from a funeral. He carried the cloying scent of lilies and damp earth, a scent that mingled strangely with his usual cold, crisp cedarwood cologne. The combination was bizarre. "Vivian," he said, his voice low and deep, banked with fire. "You'd better pray that Lily is okay. If I ever see you imitate a single one of her expressions, a single one of her movements again." His fingers tightened. "I'll make you wish you were dead." My neck throbbed with pain. A tear escaped from the corner of my eye, an involuntary physiological response. Liam's gaze, fixed on that single tear, turned even colder. I knew what he was thinking. In the novel, the villainess, Vivian King, loved nothing more than to imitate Liam's one true love, Lily White. When Lily cried, she looked exactly like this. Pitiful, fragile, like a delicate white blossom. The me from before had spent 3 months practicing how to cry just like that in front of a mirror. So now, this perfectly timed tear? Liam was convinced I was putting on another show. He flung my hand away. I stumbled, catching myself on the cold, hard surface of the vanity to keep from falling. My throat was on fire. Cough, cough, cough. I clutched my neck, hacking until my lungs ached. Liam looked down at me, his eyes filled with the kind of revulsion you'd reserve for a piece of trash. "Remember my words," he said, yanking at his tie before turning to leave. "Stay away from Lily. If she doesn't wake up today, you'll be buried with her." Slam. The bedroom door shuttered in its frame. I leaned on the vanity, gasping for air. The woman in the mirror was a wreck. Her face was flushed, tears clung to her lashes, and her hair was a mess. But damn, she was beautiful. Vivian's face was a masterpiece. More vibrant, more aggressively stunning than Lily's innocent, girl-next-door purity. Too bad the novel's male lead, Liam Scott, only had eyes for Lily's type. He found Vivian's beauty garish and conniving. That's why no matter how she mimicked Lily, how she tried to please Liam, how she schemed to break them up, she was destined to lose her family, her fortune, and her sanity, ending her days in an asylum. Tragic. I touched the red marks on my neck. The stinging pain was a sharp reminder. This wasn't a dream. I had really been transported into a book. I was the villainess with the miserable ending. Liam's threat still echoed in my ears. "If she doesn't wake up today, you'll be buried with her." I remembered. This was a key plot point. After Lily returned to the country, Vivian had arranged a minor car accident. Lily was physically unharmed, but had fainted from the shock. Liam, convinced Vivian was behind it, had come to confront her. Then, the original Vivian had cried and screamed, swearing her innocence while trying to throw herself at him, using her body to win him back. The result, of course, was like pouring gasoline on a fire. Liam's disgust had only deepened, laying the groundwork for him to eventually commit her. I looked down at myself. I was wearing a silk slip of a nightgown, thin and translucent. Clearly, it was the original owner's intended weapon. A shiver ran down my spine. I snatched the thick terry cloth robe from the back of a nearby chair and wrapped it tightly around myself. Buried with her? An asylum? No. No, thank you. I valued my life very much. And since I was here, as a rich, beautiful woman no less, why would I throw it all away? The male lead belonged to his true love. The money belonged to me. I walked to the massive floor-to-ceiling window. Outside, the river glittered with the lights of the city's most expensive district. Beneath my feet was a priceless, hand-woven rug. The bags and jewels in my closet could fund several lifetimes of luxury. I touched my still sore neck. My mind was made up. I was checking out. I was done playing games. I would stay far, far away from the main characters. And I would take Liam Scott's money and enjoy my life. As for Lily, I hoped she would wake up immediately, healthy and vibrant. And I hoped she and Liam would be shackled together for eternity, just as long as they left me alone. Lily woke up the next morning. False alarm. Liam hadn't shown up looking for me. probably wrapped up with his beloved.
Perfect.
More peace for me, the start of my grand retirement plan. Step 1. Move out of Liam's penthouse. The place was too big, too empty, and way too cold. Too luxurious to be homey, and too risky for accidental encounters with him. Bad for my mental health. I called a real estate agent. My instructions were simple. Downtown. Spacious. Single-floor apartment. Stunning view. Fully furnished. Move-in ready. That afternoon, I hauled my limited edition suitcases into my new home. Over 3,000 square feet of open space, sunlight streaming through a massive curved window wall. I collapsed onto the sofa, which felt like floating on a cloud. I sighed. Finally, life. Step 2. Sort out my finances. Vivian might be obsessed with a man, but she was still the King family heiress. Her dowry alone was a fortune, and while Liam didn't love her, the Scott family cared about appearances. His monthly allowance to her account was astronomical. I opened my banking app. Seeing that endless string of zeros filled me with unfiltered joy. Forget villainess. I was basking in goddess-level wealth. Step 3. Sever every tie that could drag me back into a plot. In the story, Vivian had bribed Liam's assistants and hired private investigators to spy on me. Utterly ridiculous. I pulled up their contacts, typed a message, then hit send. Our arrangement is terminated. Final payment sent. Do not contact me again. Then block. Delete. Repeat. Finally, I opened the chat with Liam. The history was painful, a cringeworthy diary of my unrequited devotion. Liam, it's cold today. Don't forget your coat. Liam, I made soup. Shall I send it? Liam, your stomach is sensitive, don't overeat. His replies were mostly K, no, or silence. The last message, from yesterday. Liam, I know I was wrong. Please come home? I miss you. Secondhand embarrassment hit me like a truck. I typed, Liam, we need to talk. Then paused, deleted it, and rewrote. Mr. Scott, regarding yesterday, I must clarify I had no part in Ms. White's accident. I've moved out of the penthouse. Please contact me only if necessary. I wish you well.
Perfect.
Calm, distant, professional.
Send.
Then, I renamed his contact the ATM and silenced his notifications. Finally, the world felt quiet. I ordered an over-the-top seafood platter, grabbed an ice-cold Coke, and sank into the sofa to watch a mindless slapstick comedy. Laughter until my sides hurt. This was how a novel should be lived. Days passed and I let myself be. The old Vivian, always bending to Liam's tastes, had worn muted colors, dainty dresses, and walked delicately.
Now?
Baggy t-shirts with cartoon pigs, ripped jeans, flip-flops, bare face, but still enough to turn heads. Hole-in-the-wall eateries, food stalls, night markets, my new playground. 10 skewers in one hand, a giant bubble tea in the other, grease shining on my lips. Life was good. The old Vivian forced herself to attend stuffy concerts and pretentious art shows. Now, I lounged in my home theater, AC blasting, mountain of popcorn beside me, binging trashy dramas and blockbuster action movies. Crying, laughing, living. The old Vivian endured high society tease, subtly comparing and defending her failing marriage. Now, I'd quit all group chats, ignored calls, tossed invitations. Busy, dominating online games, catching up on manga, researching the spiciest Sichuan dishes. As for Liam, the ATM. Since my message saying we were done, radio silence. No games, no attempts to lure me back. K, fine by me. His silence was a blessing. We were like two parallel lines, each in our own world. He lived in his meticulously scripted life, and I thrived in mine, enjoying freedom, indulgence, and a little chaos. Until Liam's mother, my so-called mother-in-law, Mrs. Scott, had her birthday. There was no avoiding this event. The Scotts were an elite, aristocratic family, bound by rules and tradition. Mrs. Scott's birthday was always a grand affair, held at their sprawling hillside estate. When I arrived, the ballroom glittered with gowns, tuxedos, and an air thick with money and power. I glanced at myself. To show a sliver of respect, I'd worn a simple long black slip dress. Safe. Unremarkable. A silk scarf covered the faded marks on my neck from Liam's fingers. Light foundation, muted rose lipstick, hair pulled into a modest twist. Pearl studs for jewelry. On another day, I might have blended in perfectly. Here, surrounded by women who looked like they had robbed a high-end boutique, I looked plain, almost shabby. As expected, my entrance drew stares. Curious, speculative, and perhaps a little smug. Well, well, if it isn't Mrs. Scott, a shrill voice called. Mrs. Davenport, one of Vivian's old frenemies. She sauntered over, eyes raking me like hooks. Vivian, darling, you look so plain. Didn't Liam get you anything new for today? She raised her voice deliberately. Nearby women peeked, covering their smiles with their hands. Honestly, Mrs. Scott, this won't do. It's your special day. Perhaps Liam is a bit tight on funds? Or maybe some people's positions are becoming unstable? Their words, dripping with insinuation, were meant to flaunt my supposed fall from grace. The old Vivian would have reacted, face red, snapping a brittle defense or running to Liam for consolation, exactly what they wanted.
Now?
I picked up a glass of champagne from a passing waiter, took a slow sip, and finally looked at Mrs. Davenport. You're looking well today, Mrs. Davenport, I said evenly. That foundation almost matches your neck and face. Almost. Her smile froze. She touched her neck, unconsciously, betraying herself with a subtle snort. And you, Mrs. Wallace. I turned to the other woman. Absolutely dazzling. Is that the new centerpiece from the Scott jewelry collection? I seem to remember a price tag, with quite a few zeros. Your husband is generous. Her smile vanished. Eyes darting nervously, she clutched her borrowed necklace, like a lifeline. Business troubles clearly weighed heavily. I couldn't be bothered. I walked away, leaving them flustered and pale, or maybe flushed. Who could tell? Their attempts to provoke were tedious. I focused on what truly mattered. The food. Headed straight for the dessert station, I had just grabbed a tempting slice of Black Forest cake when an icy voice froze me in place. You certainly seem to be enjoying yourself. My hand trembled slightly. Chocolate nearly slid off the cake. I turned. Liam stood a few feet away, impeccably tailored in black, tall and imposing. Next to him, Lily. Moon-white silk-sheath dress, hair cascading softly, gentle, flawless smile. Fragile, fresh, like a delicate orchid needing protection. A stark, brutal contrast to my simple black dress. Liam's gaze flicked to the cake in my hand, then to my understated appearance. His brow furrowed almost imperceptibly, a mix of disgust and indifference clear in his eyes. Mother's looking for you, he said, his tone icy, as if giving an order to someone insignificant. Go greet her. And mind yourself. Don't disgrace the Scott family name. Lily tugged gently at his sleeve, her voice soft. Liam, don't say that to Vivian. She looks nice today. Her eyes, full of innocent apology, met mine. Vivian, Liam didn't mean it like that. He's just worried his mother's been waiting. What a perfect little peacemaker. I watched her carefully. In the story, Lily was always ambiguous, truly kind or a secret manipulator. But the tiny glimmer of triumph in her eyes was unmistakable. TSK. I was too tired for their theatrics. Got it, I said, my voice flat. I'm going. Then, right in front of them, I took the slice of Black Forest cake in my hand and shoved the whole thing into my mouth. Not elegant, not polite, just pure indulgence. My cheeks puffed, chocolate melting on my tongue.
Bliss.
Liam's brow nodded, his glare sharp as daggers. Lily's expression froze, clearly shocked at my crude display. I chewed, swallowed, grabbed a glass of wine, and without another glance, walked toward Mrs. Scott at the head table. Mrs. Scott, regal in deep purple, impeccably styled, looked up as I approached. Her polite smile faltered slightly, eyes sharp with judgment. Mother, happy birthday, I said evenly. She acknowledged, brow arched. Why are you dressed like that? Don't you understand the occasion? No sense of propriety. She gestured toward Liam and Lily. And why are you wandering alone? Go join them immediately. Under this kind of pressure, the old Vivian would have been a trembling bundle, fumbling and publicly humiliated. I inhaled deeply and met her gaze. Mother, I'm not feeling well today. I apologize if I seem rude, I said, voice calm but audible. I fear I might pass along my germs and spoil the evening. Now that I've paid my respects, I'll be leaving. Speechless. Clearly not expecting such directness. The old Vivian would have endured any humiliation to impress Liam. You, she stammered. I wish you a long and healthy life. Your gift has been placed in your study by the butler, I added with a slight bow, etiquette flawless. Ladies, if you'll excuse me. Before anyone could react, I turned and walked out. My exit was clean, decisive. I could feel Mrs. Scott's astonished eyes, Liam's cold, piercing stare, and the whispers of society women enjoying the spectacle. I didn't care. Outside, the night air was cool and refreshing. I called a rideshare, standing on the side of the road with the Scott estate behind me, a vast, cold cage. I kicked at a pebble. Freedom felt good. A little over a month later, Liam came looking for me. It was a rainy weekend afternoon. I was curled up on the sofa, a sobbing mess, clutching a large tub of ice cream while watching an old tearjerker.
The doorbell rang.
Video intercom. Liam, handsome, expressionless, damp from the rain. His features seemed sharper, aura colder. I frowned. What could he want? After a pause, I buzzed him in. After all, I couldn't leave the CEO of Scott Industries standing outside in the rain. He entered, bringing with him a chill and the scent of rain. His eyes scanned my living room. Empty snack wrappers, half-eaten chips, soda cans, the nearly empty ice cream tub still in my hands. I wore a fluffy dinosaur onesie. Tear tracks streaked my cheeks. A total disaster. Disgust flashed in his eyes. What is it? I asked, grabbing a tissue to blow my nose. I stayed put. No intention of offering him a drink. He hesitated, clearly unused to this attitude, before sitting in the armchair opposite me. Soft chair, soft landing. Slightly uncomfortable, even. Next month is grandfather's 80th birthday, he said flatly, like it was business. It will be at the family estate. You are expected to attend. Oh, I said, shoveling a giant spoonful of ice cream into my mouth. Cold, but satisfying. Got it. Liam's frown deepened at my crude gesture. Vivian, he said sharply, watch your manners. I swallowed a mouthful of ice cream. Mr. Scott, I'm in my own home in pajamas, eating ice cream, and watching a movie. What kind of manners do you expect me to show? I said calmly. It's not like I'm out there embarrassing your family. His sharp gaze studied me, like I had suddenly become a stranger. What have you been doing lately? He asked abruptly. I paused. Eating, sleeping, playing games, watching shows. Why? You haven't been bothering Lily? His suspicion was thick in his voice. I almost laughed in sheer frustration. Liam, I told you before, Lily's accident had nothing to do with me. I have no interest in meddling. I'm busy enjoying my life. I don't have time for your drama. I paused, then added, don't worry. As long as you keep the deposits coming, I'll stay far away from both of you. You can have your epic, angsty romance. I'll just be a quiet, on-paper Mrs. Scott. I won't interfere. Direct enough? Checked out enough for him? Liam's expression darkened. His eyes were complex. Curiosity, confusion, perhaps even a flicker of offense. Vivian, he said, his voice hard. You'd better mean that. Of course, I said, resuming my ice cream. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. He stood, towering over me. For grandfather's party, dress appropriately. Don't embarrass yourself like last time. And just like that, he was gone. The door closed, sealing off the oppressive chill he'd brought. I rolled my eyes. Jerk, I muttered, returning to my ice cream. On the screen, the hero and heroine were finally reunited, crying in each other's arms. I cried too, along with them. Grandfather Scott's 80th birthday was an even grander affair than his wife's. The main hall of the family estate, ancient and magnificent, gleamed with carved beams and intricate decorations. The guest list was a who's who of the country's elite, politicians, business tycoons, celebrated artists. Formality and festivity blended in the air. I had learned my lesson. I hired a stylist days in advance. We chose a conservative, dark red velvet gown, long-sleeved, high-necked, revealing nothing but my wrists. Hair in a flawless updo, small jade earrings, subtle makeup. I looked demure, elegant, and utterly non-threatening, perfectly suited for the role of the on-paper Mrs. Scott. When Liam saw me, his gaze lingered briefly. No words, just a slight nod. Lily was there too, ethereal in a pale pink chiffon gown. Sweet, fairy-like, standing by Liam. He treated her warmly, shielding her, speaking softly. Observers whispered among themselves.
See?
That's the one he really cares about. The real wife is just for show. Probably won't be long before she's out for good. I ignored them, grabbed a glass of juice, and found a quiet corner. The ceremony dragged on, speeding